For centuries, the Library of Alexandria has captured the imagination like no other lost treasure. It was said to hold the knowledge of the ancient world: mathematics from Greece, astronomy from Babylon, medicine from Egypt, and philosophy from India. But most of it vanished in flames, leaving us to wonder what was lost. So, what if the Library of Alexandria had never been destroyed? What if humanity's greatest collection of ancient knowledge had survived? Today, we'll explore how that one change could have transformed science, technology, and the course of human history. The library's promise. The Library of Alexandria, founded in the 3rd century BCE by the Ptolemaic kings of Egypt, wasn't just a building. It was a symbol of ambition, the attempt to gather all human knowledge under one roof. Ships docking in Alexandria were reportedly required to surrender their scrolls for copying, ensuring the library grew with every voyage. Imagine walking through its halls. Tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands, of scrolls lining wooden shelves. Texts on mathematics, astronomy, medicine, engineering, literature, and history, all accessible to scholars of the ancient world. But through fire, neglect, and war, the library declined. By the time of Julius Caesar, parts of it were already destroyed. Later centuries delivered more blows until almost nothing remained. The knowledge that could have been saved. To understand what we lost, let's look at what might have been preserved. Ancient medicine. Egyptian doctors practiced advanced surgery and recorded treatments in papyri. Combined with Greek theories and Indian Ayurvedic texts, medicine could have leapt forward centuries. Diseases that plagued the Middle Ages, like smallpox or plague, might have been managed far earlier. Mathematics and engineering. Greek mathematicians like Archimedes had already invented early forms of calculus, complex geometry, and even mechanical computers like the Antikythera mechanism. If these ideas had been safeguarded and built upon, Europe might not have waited until the Renaissance for advanced engineering. Astronomy. Babylonian and Indian astronomers had developed models of planetary motion long before Copernicus. If their works had survived in Alexandria, the heliocentric model of the solar system might have been accepted centuries earlier. That could mean space exploration happening not in the 20th century, but perhaps in the Middle Ages. Geography. Greek scholar Eratosthenes calculated the circumference of the Earth with remarkable accuracy in the 3rd century BCE. If such knowledge had been widespread through the library, the myth of a flat Earth might never have persisted. Global navigation and exploration could have begun much earlier. A different Middle Ages. If the library had survived, the so-called Dark Ages in Europe might never have been as dark. Instead of centuries of intellectual stagnation, Europe could have built directly on ancient discoveries. Imagine medieval Europe with access to advanced medical texts, blueprints for machinery, or accurate maps of the known world. The Black Death in the 14th century killed millions because doctors didn't understand infection or sanitation. With preserved medical knowledge from Alexandria, treatments and quarantines could have been far more effective, potentially saving millions of lives. In technology, preserved engineering principles might have led to steam power or mechanical engines centuries earlier. The Industrial Revolution might have begun in the 1200s, not the 1700s. That means electricity, railways, and even flight could have reshaped the world before the Renaissance artists even picked up a paintbrush. Global implications. The ripple effects wouldn't have stopped with Europe. The Library of Alexandria gathered knowledge from across civilizations: Egyptian, Greek, Mesopotamian, Indian, and possibly even Chinese. A preserved library could have acted as a global knowledge hub, spreading ideas across continents. This shared pool of wisdom might have accelerated cross-cultural exchanges. Imagine Islamic scholars of the Golden Age, already brilliant mathematicians and astronomers, working not just with preserved Greek works, but with thousands more texts from Alexandria. The Islamic world could have entered a scientific revolution centuries earlier. And what about global exploration? With preserved maps and geographical works, voyages across the Atlantic or around Africa might have happened long before Columbus or Vasco da Gama. Entire civilizations could have come into contact far earlier, changing the timeline of trade, colonization, and cultural exchange. The human mind. Unleashed. Perhaps the most exciting aspect of a surviving Library of Alexandria is the human creativity it could have unleashed. Knowledge doesn't just sit on shelves, it sparks ideas. Think of Leonardo da Vinci sketching flying machines in the 15th century. Now imagine if he had access to scrolls describing ancient Chinese kites, Babylonian astronomy, and Greek mechanical devices. The Wright brothers might not have been the first to fly in 1903. Flight could have been achieved in the medieval era. Or consider space exploration. With advanced astronomy preserved and shared, humanity might have reached for the stars not in the 20th century, but far earlier. Telescopes, rockets, and spaceflight could have come centuries before the modern era. A word of caution. Of course, not everything would have been a guaranteed leap forward. Technology doesn't develop in isolation. It needs the right social, political, and economic conditions. Even with advanced knowledge, medieval Europe or other regions might not have had the resources to immediately industrialize. And there's another side to this: power. Imagine empires gaining access to advanced engineering or medicine while their rivals did not. The knowledge from Alexandria could have fueled conquest, warfare, and domination on a scale the world wasn't ready for. Preserved knowledge might have advanced humanity, but it could also have sharpened its weapons centuries earlier. The destruction of the Library of Alexandria is one of history's greatest tragedies. In its ashes, countless scrolls disappeared, and with them, the chance to accelerate human progress by centuries. Medicine, astronomy, engineering, and exploration all could have blossomed earlier, reshaping the timeline of civilization. If the library had survived, the world today might look unrecognizable. We could be centuries ahead, flying through the stars, curing diseases long ago, or living in societies transformed by ancient wisdom. Or perhaps we would have repeated the same mistakes, just faster. What remains certain is this: the library's destruction reminds us of the fragility of knowledge and the responsibility we have to preserve it today. History is full of turning points, where a single loss reshaped the destiny of humanity. If you enjoyed this exploration of alternate history, make sure to subscribe for more thought-provoking deep dives. And tell us in the comments, what piece of lost history do you wish we still had today?